Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
The doctor is in, baby. This is Doc Blalock, and you're watching the Madness Comic Network.
And now for something completely different.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Reality and Publishing Comics with me, Paul Gomez. Today, we have a special host, and that is Dylan Moore.
The one and only.
Yes. My son is hosting today, and I don't know what he's going to say or what he's going to do. But
I don't know either. It's all a mystery. Just like our book.
We are talking about New Year's coming up and looking back and having a lot of fun with everything that we've experienced this past year. We want to send a lot of thanks out to a bunch of people, but that's definitely what we're going to do on this episode today. Dylan, what kind of questions do you want to talk about first?
I wasn't really prepared for this.
See, now, if you're going to host a show, one of the good things is to be prepared with the topic or at least 3 or 4 questions, like what exactly was the biggest moment of your life this past year, dealing with comics wise?
Okay, because that biggest moment is going to New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I got to see Anthony Mackie. Oh. That was amazing. And had fun there. We did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, New Orleans was great. It was a New Orleans Fan Expo. It was last year. I think it was in January. So it was at the beginning of the year. We went, and it was about a 6-7 hour drive.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't exactly have a big motel because we didn't know how much we were going to make there. The table cost a little bit, and we talked on one of our shows about the table costs of conventions and about that kind of stuff. Do you remember what we had when we went to that show?
I know we had PTSD, obviously.
Right.
PTSD. I think we had the first issue of Bushu. I think it just got out, and that was our first convention with it.
Yeah, and we were definitely learning how to table and what to put on it. I think we had just built a carousel that we take with us.
Yeah.
And we didn't have like a background or anything. We took a widescreen projector to test that out.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of different things. But I mean, definitely one of the things about conventions is getting to talk to people and meet people. Like you said, you got to meet Anthony Mackie. That was interesting, huh?
Yeah, I bet you wish you were there.
Yes, well, somebody had to be busy at the table selling while you went and spent the money.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, okay.
That we don't talk about.
So, as the host today, what are we talking about?
I had something that came in my head, but it kind of just went away. What are we talking about?
Well, one of the other shows that we did have, we talked about the pitches. And that was one of our first shows, so we were still learning how to pitch stuff and the different books and whatnot. Tell me about one of the books that we have.
That we have right now?
Sure.
Want me to tell you about it? You know about it.
Well, I know that you know the pitches as well, so tell me about one of them.
I really don't know the pitches. I don't know how to start it.
Which one?
I was thinking of Bushy Boo. Yeah, because it's the one that I always think of. Shoot. Help me.
Bushy Boo is a project that me and my kids put together. It's a cross between
Murder mystery and kind of a Scooby-Doo murder mystery. Criminal
Usually I say-
Minds and Scooby-Doo.
That's usually what I say on that pitch. That's right.
Yeah.
It follows 3 apprentices that kind of are coming into age, so it has a little drama but mystery as well. So you probably haven't got the pitches down as much as I have, because I probably said them a million times. But you've been at the table selling, sometimes even while I'm not there. Do you enjoy talking to the people and getting to know them?
Sometimes. I get really nervous, though.
And talk about your presentation while you're at the table.
What do you mean by presentation? Oh, my jacket? Yeah, I love my jackets right there, actually. We used to have a pop-out top hat, which I don't really use that much anymore. Same with the pop-out cane, mainly because that kind of got messed up. Because I have brothers, and they suck.
But still, being at a table at a convention, you want to put your best foot forward. Usually I try to go with a button-up shirt, and one of my kids are dressed up in one with fashion or another. Go on.
Which hopefully soon we'll be able to get me a leather jacket like Lance. Right, Dad?
Yeah, possibly not.
Come on.
Well, you're going to have to sell more comics, aren't you?
I can try. No promises.
And that's how well his presentations usually are.
Okay, we don't talk about that.
Oh, we're talking about it.
No, we don't.
So what else do you want to talk about today in the show?
How did you come up with the ideas that I didn't help you with?
What, that you didn't help with?
Yeah, that I didn't help you with.
Well, we started with Bushy Boo, and that's the one that you did help with.
Yeah.
And you know that. We all got into a room just about an hour every day.
All me.
Oh, yeah. Put that story together, and then afterwards, it really was. Bushy Boo hit a snag, and it had a stop in development for a while. So I decided to double down with a project that was really near and dear to me, and that was PTSD. It was talking about Day. Yeah, it was talking about mental health and awareness kind of thing. And it was on Memorial Day that me and my editor decided to take a break from Bushy Boo, and we started, giving thanks to veterans who have been in our lives and people who served that are in our families and whatnot. And because of that, it helped jumpstart that story of mental illness and mental awareness kind of thing. But that's how PTSD came about. Cryptic I was really helping a friend through a lot of problems. He was going through a divorce, and it was just kind of an escape kind of thing. What would he do if he had the power of mental ability to change people's minds and whatnot? And what would be the causes and effects of it all? That's really where Cryptic Haze coming from. Prelude to Aurora, which is a new one coming out in February, that really came about talking to my artist, because he worked on PTSD and Cryptic Haze, and being so close to him, I really asked him what he liked and what he wanted to do, and that came across with his passion of stories, and I started writing a story specifically for him. All that time, you didn't think of another question, did you?
I did.
Okay, shoot.
How did you find your teams?
Well, that's actually a good question. Whenever I first started, I knew my biggest weakness was editorial. And because, I suffer from dyslexia, and, you and your brother do as well. I figured the one thing that I needed to reach out and find was someone who was a little bit more knowledgeable in the field and could pick up my weaknesses where they were so it could kind of even out my strengths. Whenever I found an editor, he kind of started telling me about how to look for teams and what to look for and kind of what to see in the art and kind of how to match their art to my certain stories. So with having hired the editor first, we started looking for pencilers and inkers and kind of went from there.
Um, um, your turn to question me. Yay!
Okay, so tell me about all the interesting people that you met, throughout this experience.
Oh, I met a lot.
Well, preferably people in the industry. Let's start with like Charter Comics and McLean.
Which I technically introduced you to them. So I don't know how to explain this. Every day we got off school, whenever they were late, because they do stuff a lot to pick us up, we'd always go across the street, and there's this comic book store, which we would always go into, just sit down and hang out. So we kind of met them, and it's kind of that meeting them. And then our dad started doing the comics, and then all of us kind of went in the comic store and talked, and that's how we met all the people from Chartered Comics.
That's how you remember it.
That is, yeah.
Let me tell you how I remember it. So before we started making comics, I was introducing you and your brother into comics. Remember that?
We went to the other comic book store, not Pastime.
Not Pastime. That was Collected Comics. That's right. And you really enjoyed meeting Brent, and all the people that collected. But y'all also went to Pastime as well because it was right after y'all got out of school, and it was right across the street. Those were the two comic stores that you were going to at the time that I introduced you into comics. So when we decided to do the hobby of making a comic at home, I went out and started going to all the comic stores and started asking them about artists to see if I could find somebody that could maybe draw our comic up as a thank you for all the effort that y'all did at the house, building these stories and helping input to everything, and really not spending all your time on video games and whatnot.
What? No, not at all.
So we actually met McLean when we first met Mike Henson. He was doing a signing, and y'all had heard about it whenever y'all walked home from school. So we went and talked to him for a few hours because remember he signed that print for you, and then he was like, there's plenty of us that hang around here at Pastime. Come and talk to a few of us, and that's how we really started talking to Chris and McLean, which McLean's been amazingly great. He's our letter throughout all the books except for one, but he's been a part of just every project. So who else have you met on this journey?
I'm hoping I'm getting his name right.
Just throw it out there.
I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm saying it right, but I don't know if I'm getting his name right.
If it's wrong, I'm going to tell him you said it wrong.
No, Sean from Sanctuary. Sanctuary. Which I haven't talked to that much, but every time we go there for a signing, I will always go because it's Sanctuary. They are amazing.
Sean at Sanctuary is a great LCS that's around here. I want to say it's past Dallas. It's not in Irving. I think it's right past Irving. I forget where specifically, but every time we go there, it's been amazing. Sean's the owner there. He's been real helpful to me, and he's been great to the kids whenever they go there. He's offered to buy me business cards and help me out with the comic stuff, and I know he's handed some of my books out, which has been a great deal. But he's had an open door policy for me and a few other artists that are around here, so we definitely want to thank Sean for that. So who else in the industry have you met? besides comic book store owners?
I have so met a lot. I know someone that you know, but I don't think most people here know.
Well, go ahead.
It was the Stupid Comic Guys.
Oh,
That
yes.
sounded mean, but that's their name of the comics was Stupid Comics.
That is the publication, Stupid Comics.
Yes,
I believe.
just wanna,
I believe his comic is Stab Man,
yes,
and I think he's got about 9 issues. You can look that up. Stupid Comics. He's got about 4 different comics under his brand, and he's a great guy that we met a few months ago.
uh-huh.
Anyone else you want to talk about?
Steve
Garcia. That's right.
He's really nice to me because
Amazing artistry. He actually worked on the animation of Iron Giant and different other projects.
which I have some prints over there if you want to show.
Well, who else? Well, there's plenty of other people I want
Yes,
to get to
there
and thank
is
for
plenty of other people, and there are a lot.
Sure.
I could probably, of course, Pops. I mean,
of course, Pops.
yeah, very nice to me. Which I don't go on the show that much, but try to. But whenever I do come on, it's very fun to hang out with.
One of your favorite people to me. You're always talking about him, always telling me to say hi, and
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely helped us out a great deal. And we definitely want to give thanks to promoters and stuff. There are definitely tons of them out there. What about Sam?
Sam. Yeah, Sam. He's amazing. He. I feel like you just throw it up. He's really nice to us. We always like to talk to him. At least I do. Because Colton doesn't really go to Comic Cons, but I always talk to him whenever I can. Like at
Sam
Dan
Vera,
Expo.
he does Alien in My Toilet. He also does Forbidden, I believe it is, and he hosts the show Catch the Craze.
Catch the Craze.
And he's helped you, show you a little bit of drawing and stuff, and talked about references and told you, kind of opened your eyes about a few of those things.
And also he's helped me with some theater stuff too. So
gave you tons of his time, which we definitely want to say thank you to him. Like I said, whenever it comes to people who push and promote our product, we want to say thank you to everyone that's had us on their show. There's a long list of people. Unfortunately, I can't get to them because I forget. I've got them written down, but I don't have them all in my memory. But I mean, how many other people have you met?
How many? Man,
I mean,
if you want me to think about it, I've met a lot. But what do you mean? How many other people? Like,
well, I definitely wanted to hit a few that I know that really impacted you, like Ken.
Yeah, of course, Ken and McLean and
Ken
Chris and Zach and
Zach Spivey.
Yeah, and shoot,
Chuck
I forgot
Bennett.
his name.
Chuck.
And Chuck.
Yeah.
Can't forget Chuck.
You got to sit with them at Dallas Fan Expo for just about the whole weekend.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, instead of being at my
me to
table,
go. You forced me to leave and go to him. I went to him. We hung out, and afterwards we ate. I forgot his name.
Who's?
Well, it's technically hers name, but I just don't remember her husband, which I talked to in
Lisa Miller?
Yes, the Pixels.
Pixel art?
Yeah, I talked to him and kind of hanged out at our last convention.
She did a cover for us for Bushibu issue number 2, which was great. Yeah.
This one isn't in comics.
Go ahead.
But I really enjoyed talking to him. It was Frank. I forgot his last name, but it was Frank.
Tig.
Yes.
Frank Tig. He's one of the actors for a lot of the Star Wars shows. He is one of the guys that has that I don't know what the character is. Those pig
guards.
Jabba guards. Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett.
And then I don't know what other roles he has, but I know he was great talking to you that time when we went down to was it wasn't Lubbock, Laredo.
Yeah. I don't think I've been to Lubbock.
Yeah. Well, I don't. You might not have. Every other convention or so, we swapped out Dylan or his twin Colton,
Sadly.
one or the other.
Because everyone loves me. I mean, come on, it's me.
So, what advice do you have for new creators and whatnot? Is there anything that you've seen that creators should do or shouldn't do whenever they start out?
Be confident.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not good at that, but everyone else who is really up there, like, going.
So, let me ask you this. Having said that, do you think that I'm confident?
Absolutely.
And see, because I'm usually shaky, especially whenever I go into conventions. I know that one of the greatest pieces of advice that my first editor gave me was be confident. Be sure yourself whenever you're selling to people. You're selling the best product that you can, and make sure that you're coming across that way. Because if you don't believe in it, how is anyone else going to believe in it?
Yeah.
Right. And I tell y'all that too. Whenever you're selling it, be confident. Stand up straight. Talk. And not just be sitting around at the table all the time.
I'm not always sitting. I stand up. Whenever
I
you're
didn't say
gone.
you were.
Colton maybe, but me no. And if Martin was there, but he'd be running around.
So, out of all these conventions that you went to, all these book signings, was there another creator out there that really caught your eye that we hadn't mentioned that was really confident in selling their product better?
The Stupid Comics.
The Stupid Comics guy?
Yeah, they were really confident.
Yeah, they were definitely out there. They were out there very charismatic and very character-wise, and he was talking about his comics. And the thing about it, I found he didn't really put any of his comics on Kickstarter, or he's not through a publisher, and he's just pushing it out himself. Like I said, I think they got about 9 to 12 issues of Stabman.
They also
and he's
got a movie.
He's also got a little movie that
and
he
they
gave
said
us.
they're working on a game too.
Yeah. So I mean, he's out there doing it, and hopefully we'll get him on this show soon. Like I was telling him, there's definitely a lot of great avenues to go to and stuff that he hasn't heard about. So we definitely want to talk to him soon. But yeah, having confidence is definitely one thing to have.
Important, very, very important. Because without confidence, you ain't confident.
That's right. I mean,
Yeah.
without confidence, you're going to be unsure about your project, and you might not give that assertiveness to your customers that they need whenever they're looking at it as well.
And you also might second think yourself. Whatever. Yeah. You might have second thoughts, which is good at sometimes, but not always good.
Now, I really want to talk about, this past year, because a lot of stuff did happen to us this past year. Well, we released most of our comics. PTSD was technically, I guess, a year before by a month or two.
Yeah.
But Bushibu was this year. Now, Bushibu was a comic that you helped put together.
Yeah.
And I remember when we started coming up with that story, we really wanted to do a comic that was focused towards teens a little bit, right?
Yes.
So what did you feel was missing in the comics that you read before?
I feel like they were all the same.
Yeah.
They all kind of backed down on things. And then other things was just normal. They were kind of child's comics. Like, even Marvel stuff, it was kind of like, okay.
They were made for a little bit younger of a reader
Yeah.
than you and your brother.
I was kind of like, I kind of got bored of them after a while.
And you still love Marvel comics, because I think you still picked one or two of them recently.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite?
Miles.
And why is that?
Because it's Miles. I mean, I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. I mean, like, I love Spider-Man. Like, anything close to Spider-Man, I love. But Miles Morales is just something I like more than a lot of things.
I honestly feel that there's a big surge of horror comics nowadays. Have you noticed that as well?
Oh yeah, you read a lot of them.
And there are a lot of them.
Mhm. Like
Is there
the
a new horror comic that you like out there other than ours that you
shoot,
like out
that's the
there
one
more
I
than
was gonna
ours?
go with. Um, I don't really read different people's horror comics, and because I can't find them in all the boxes, but I don't really read them because. But I know you like the Silver Coin,
Mhm.
which I thought, from what you told me, sounded interesting, and some other stuff like that. I think Silver Coin really stuck out to me. I just never read it though.
Yeah, and I know we hadn't really picked up that many newer comics,
Mhm.
especially because we put most of our money into our comics. But is there a certain title like that you've noticed that you're really wanting to get into, other than Miles Morales, other than Spider-Man,
Mm,
Superman, or Batman? Is there something
anything
that's
other than DC and Marvel. I To be honest, I haven't really seen anything that's popped out to me, unless we're at conventions. Then
Right.
there's a couple things that pop out to me.
Well, what about those?
Well, we haven't been at a convention for a while, so my brain can't remember a couple
It's
months
been a while.
before.
You slept since then.
Absolutely. I mean, I love sleeping, so yeah, I don't. I know there's some interesting things, but I just haven't really remembered them.
So whenever that first comic came in that we had, what did that mean to you?
It's kind of a new era.
Yeah,
A lot of things changed after that.
better, worse? Tell me about it.
Well, some was better,
Hmm?
some was worse. It kind of evens out though. Like we get to go to conventions to hang out. You're on the streams, so you don't really have that much to do. You don't have that much time to hang out with us other than conventions and stuff like that. And then
Okay.
whenever you're off stream, you work on the comics and Kickstarter and whatnot, trying to get signings and all that. So that evens out. We get to meet people, which I love. It's one of the things I really like to do. And so, yeah. But I think after the comic thing, it was just. I think there was a lot going on. So, kind of all just got jumbled up.
Yeah, definitely a give and take thing. Now, I know you've actually taken a few comics to your school and
Mhm.
sold a few to your sisters and other family members. Tell me about that process. I mean, do you just go out there, take a comic, and say, "Hey, want to read something cool?"
That sounded a little weird, but I talked to them first. So, I explained them to the comic. It's like if you were at a convention, you explain them about the comic, tell them what's about, what it is, and what's all in it, and then you kind of show them pictures of it, like the cover art and stuff like that, and tell them what it's about. Obviously, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, then sucks for them. They're missing out.
Okay, so let me ask you. I know you're hosting the show and all, and I don't want to step on your toes or anything, but let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you were talking to a comic creator other than myself, let's say you're talking to Laurie, or you were talking to Chris, or you were talking to, Sam, what advice would you give them as a teenager where they could say to get you to buy their comic?
So that's a little different because some people are different than others. I think Sam has a good way to getting younger audiences, like around my age, having jokes in his stuff and all that. Mike Henson is more
His is a little more mature than your age. I think his is an 18 plus kind of comic.
Yeah, and so for him, I'd say just try to think of whenever he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And younger, and think about what he would have liked to read.
What about someone like Chris?
Chris, see, I think his is more creepy. So try to make it, I'd say, mysterious, kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really good at selling things, so don't quote me on all this.
Well, we're talking about you as a teenager, as a consumer.
Yeah,
You know,
and a lot of kids like creepy and mystery, but it's kind of like I don't know how you would sell that because it's creepy and mystery. It's the way you kind of want it is to be a mystery.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna sell it to someone, you kind of need to keep it a mystery, keep it more secretive, and I think with creepy stuff, it's kind of the same with
Yeah.
adults and kids than just like other stuff. Like Mike Hinson's is more alive and pops out, and same with Sam's, but his is more like a funny thing.
So let's say a brand new creator was coming to you and said, "What kind of comic could I make that you would love specifically?"
Okay,
Do you like manga, anime kind of comics?
I don't read all that anime stuff. And I don't even watch the shows for anime. I know Colton does, so
Colton, your twin brother, he definitely does.
yes, but I'm not really into anime because kind of
What about your friends? You know, around your age,
I know some of them are. I
some of
know
them.
I think a lot of them like anime. So if you're gonna make a comic on anime, I'm sure more younger audience would like that. But older audiences are more
Kind of westernized style, based on DC and Marvel kind of ish.
yeah, they're more into realistic type things or fun. But anime is like kind of goofy in my eyes. But I know some people have the complete opposite thing.
Right.
So, but it just depends on perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody's different. I was really asking about, your age range. I know that when we got into making these comics, it was like y'all felt like the comics weren't aimed at your age. So I was kind of wondering, is there something specifically that you would like or you and your friends would like more than the stuff that's out there?
See, that's kind of a hard question to answer. Because if there was, we'd be working on it. But
Well, sometimes you get those answers if you ask them, and if you don't ask them, those answers just get stayed
away.
right.
Back.
So that's why I'm asking. Is there something that you and your friends around your age kind of prefer other than other stuff? Not really.
I think to be more realistic.
Yeah.
To have. Yeah, just to be more realistic. I think that's what some people are. But then again, still with perspective. I I think it's like half and half. More like realistic, more like goofy kind of stuff. So it's
right.
Still the same.
So whenever we went into Bushibu 2, I mean, because y'all gave a lot of notes and a lot of ideas for that first issue.
Mm-hmm.
How much input did you feel that you put into the second one?
The second one, I don't think we put too much into it. I think that was more you and your team. Mm-hmm. Because, like, with the gorilla and all that, and I don't think we really helped with that because I know we talked about later issues, but we've never really talked about it in order whenever we
Right.
were all in that room.
We talked about an outline as for the whole series as opposed to just the individual issues.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would ever write an entire issue by yourself?
I I don't think I can write an entire issue by myself.
Oh, about a year and a half ago, I didn't think I could either. But I mean, do you think you would ever want to?
I mean, I think I want to, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of worrying.
Yeah, it is. It is. Whenever you're making something, whenever you're going and doing a performance, and you definitely have that feelings of like
Anxiety.
butterflies in your stomach. I know you're an choir and you had to go out there and sing this past month,
And
and I know
theater.
you were worried about that stuff, right? But you get over it. And so, I mean, there's always opportunity if you decide to write a book. Kind of leads to the next question. Would you ever write a new book of your own?
Of my own. See, I don't think I come up with the idea of the book because
Okay.
I can't really see things like that. I think if I was talking with people, maybe I could, but just by myself alone, thinking of the idea, I don't think I come up with anything.
No, and wasn't exactly me that came up with Bushibu. It was you and your brothers, and all of us sitting around in a circle, kind of thing.
Hmm.
We came up with like 10 different stories. Remember?
Yeah, trust me, I remember.
So, looking forward, what exactly do you want to happen this coming year? Comic book wise, with like the career that's going on, with the books that we're putting out, what are you hoping for?
I want to meet more people.
Mhm.
I think just throughout this whole thing, I think that was the most fun thing I want to do more. But I also want to get more comic books out.
Yeah.
So, like, play Prelude to Aurora, and then whatever we'll do next after that. I just want to,
Probably be issue 3 of Bushibu.
yeah, and I want to try getting that out. Mainly, I want to try getting Bushibu out because of how much issues we're trying to get to.
Right.
And then, I know you have a lot of ideas for books, like the lit book. I think that's what we were gonna call it. Flame, yeah, like that one, and a couple of others. So I kind of want to try getting more books out, but I also want to meet more people at conventions. So it's kind of like a mix in between.
Do you like promoting the books and getting out there and telling people about it?
I do, but sometimes that can still be hard for me because I'm not really comfortable talking to random people still. So it's kind of like.
And you get a bit nervous from time to time?
I don't get a bit nervous. I got really nervous.
Well, I mean, how is it that you get so much nervous whenever you're on a stream, but like you can stand on stage and sing or act and not be as nervous?
I'm really nervous during those, but those are like planned out, because whenever you're singing, you remember all the lyrics, you went through them like 100 times, and then same with theater, you kind of just went through them a lot beforehand, and you get practices with them, and I was really nervous. So whenever I was in theater, I'd always like shake my leg during rehearsals and whatnot. And I had to learn to stop that, which was really, really hard for me. And I still did it during the play, but I did it a lot less. So I'm always nervous. There's more people up around me. Like, in the play, I had like 5 other people with me. And then choir, I have a whole class of people with me. So it isn't just me alone on stage. But choir's a little different than most things because continue.
No, I was gonna say you have people here whenever you're being streamed. I mean, you have me here, and your brothers are usually here.
Yeah, but I don't know. Being on stream is just like it's a whole new
Unusual.
opportunity because
Mhm.
people can see it at any time, whenever they want, and it's kind of like a little weird. But for choir, it's different for me because I can do it alone. Like if someone gave me the opportunity to sing by myself, I mean I would. But if it's like I can't see the other people, I feel like I get a lot more nervous
Right.
because the 9-10 thing I was talking to you about,
Mm-hmm.
where I was being judged.
Right.
I froze up during that because they were behind a black piece of paper.
Right.
And I couldn't see them, and I got really nervous.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know, 9-10 is a competition for the high school choir kind of thing, right?
Kind of.
Mhm.
It's more like a team.
Right.
So they were trying to choose out of the high school people who would get into this certain choir to sing, which a couple of my friends got in.
But whenever you're streaming, I mean, you're not exactly having to worry about people because there's nobody else in the room. Well, me right now, but I mean, there's nobody else in the room.
Yes, but so people are watching us, right?
Oh, you don't know that. There might not be anybody.
Exactly. That even makes it more worrying. There could be nobody, but there could be somebody.
Right.
And there could be like 1,000 people, or there can be just 10. It's just whenever they're in the chat, they're like hiding behind a wall. Like how in choir, there's the people hiding behind the paper, and
Right.
it's just me talking to them, but it's kind of makes me nervous.
Okay, so let's talk more about comics a little bit.
Okay.
This past year, like I said, we had 3 of the 4 books come out. PTSD came out just a few months before the year. Having all those books come out, was it really different for you? I mean, I know you said that it was a give and take things and it evened out, but did you find it as a new world or
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot more things I understand now.
like what?
Like there's a lot of challenges
Yeah.
to getting through different things. Like with comics, there's a lot of challenges and stuff like that. And I think it just kind of, how do I say this? I don't know how to say this. It kind of made me see things more.
So there's different uh, jobs in making comics.
Mhm.
Whether you're the writer, whether you're promoting, whether you're selling it out at conventions. Could you find yourself in a different job other than just writing?
To be honest, I don't think so.
No.
No, unless you're considering like going to conventions as promoting, then that'd be
Yeah.
like the one other thing. But
I know that they have a lot of people that get hired just to go to conventions and sell product. Yeah.
that's the only thing I could see myself doing.
So other than meeting people, other than helping with the ideas and the writing of the books, you know, where do you think this is going to take you?
That's a good question. I see. I never really thought too much about that
Mhm.
because into the future, and it's kind of like it's darkness, it's mystery, it's kind of scary. But I think if we keep doing what we're doing, trying our best to help the comics and whatnot, then I think we can get pretty good.
Yeah, you just recently started to draw a little bit.
Oh God, yeah.
Are you going to continue on that? Do you want to draw in a comic?
No,
No.
I can't. That's just all. I think I'm more into other stuff.
And there's nothing
Drawing.
wrong with that. Yeah.
Your mic's good now. Like drawing isn't my thing. I cannot draw. I understand you can get better, but it's just never really piqued my interest. I mean, I like other people's drawings, but I just never really got into drawing.
Didn't you ask me to teach you to draw?
I want you to know you sound like a robot, Dad.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's like static over it.
Okay. I don't know if that's your headset or mine. But didn't you ask me to teach you to draw?
Yes, and I really tried to keep in with all that, but I had a lot of choir at that time, and I had theater at the same time. During choir, I was trying to do a lot of this stuff. Then we had conventions, and we just had a lot of things thrown at me at one time because I was going to high school and having to deal with my grades going low because I had theater and choir, and having to deal with how to get to both things at the same time. And it was kind of...
Yeah, we made you walk.
No, I'm talking about like the rehearsals.
No, I understand.
Yeah, it's
honestly, and that's okay. There's no problem stopping and picking stuff up, whether you like it or not. And if you decide to go into choir again, that's okay. You can go sing at the convention tables. So, what else do you want to talk about?
Before this, did you ever see yourself going into comics?
No. I always loved comics. Whenever I was introducing you into comics, it was great to see that my kids were getting into it. And the fact that y'all had dyslexia like I did, I felt that comics could help y'all. When we started this project, it was really just to build the morale at the house. And I didn't think it was going to go any further than that. When we sat down, talked to Mike Henson, he really put that idea that it could actually be a comic that could be in a bookstore if I did one or two things. And so I ran with it because I wanted to feel like y'all had accomplished something as well. So to have that book, not just on our shelf, but at a store, y'all could see how much progress we all did as a family. And it just railroaded. Bushibu stopped for a little while. I went ahead with PTSD, and it kind of sold, a little bit crazy. So it kind of just jump started, the field. We basically rotated stuff in and ended up with 4 comics and going on our 5th. So no, I never expected. I never wrote anything. I never thought I could project manage. I didn't know what was going on or behind the scenes of a comic. So I never thought I would ever write a comic. No.
Okay. Before you started creating comics, were there things that you didn't think you have to change, but you really did have to change to get the comics through? You understand what I'm saying?
Are you talking about what I had to learn?
Like in your everyday life. Things that you didn't think you'd have to do, but then you had to start doing for the comic to get published and through with all of it?
Well, I mean, whenever I started doing comics, it was one of those things that I had to learn everything. Well, we originally were going to make a book,
Mm-hmm.
so the stories that we were writing were, in novel format.
Yeah,
And
really headache format. Yeah.
whenever we decided to make it a comic, I don't know if you remember, but it was like we had to change formats altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn everything. Whenever it came to writing a script, how to page turns, how to write panels, how many words would go in a panel, and how to write towards a certain aged audience, because that was one of the things I definitely wanted to do, was write towards the teenagers, towards y'all. Brian, how's it going? Yeah, so it was like I had to learn a lot of stuff. It wasn't just here's an idea, let's make a comic. And I knew with my dyslexia it was going to be a hard journey. So I did go find an editor that was going to be hard on me, was going to push me to my limits to get my book done the best of my ability. So yeah, it took a lot of stuff. I had to learn a lot of new things, and it did change a lot. It did. So it was a lot of readjusting.
I gotta think of another question.
So again, this past year was the first year that we started doing cons, and we started adding new things to the tables. We put bowls of candy out there. We sold prints. What would you advise people to put on their table to attract you as a customer?
There's a lot of things.
Okay, like what?
I know candy obviously is a good way because people.
Wait a minute. No. What, when you're walking down the middle of the aisle, what makes you look over there and go, oh shit, I'm walking over there to look at that? Don't tell me it's a bowl of candy, because I ain't buying that.
It is. It is a bowl of candy for him.
But for a lot of people, it's the posters you have up in the back.
The prints behind you?
Yes.
Or your back banners?
Yes, the back banners.
So that's the most important thing?
That really catches a lot of people's eyes, especially if you have good work behind you, and it's not just something y'all threw together. But I think that's one of the big things.
Yeah, having a big banner with words out there definitely catch people's eye. Are there any small things that you might have seen? Because I'm definitely looking into getting new things on my table. Do you like stickers? Do you like other products? I don't know. You tell me. As a teenager, going to all these conventions, is there anything that stands out the most?
The most.
I know you like buying prints.
Yeah,
you can say booth, babes. Just say it, dude. Just say it. It's okay.
I don't know.
I love making that kid turn red.
T-shirts. Yeah. Because I see a lot of things that people customly made. Like there's a place where they had little people, and they had like a rhyme to go with them. So I think if we had T-shirts, that'd be.
You love all the cosplaying. Do you love cosplaying yourself?
It's fun. It gets a little hot in the jacket though, so kind of a downside. That's why we need the leather jacket.
You need a fancy vest
that's
made of the same material, so you can drop the jacket when it gets warm, but still be in character.
Yeah.
I got you, bro. I got you.
And Brian Christgau also always have postcard style flyers that are convenience specific, collectible to hand out to passerbys. I definitely agree. Having something that is
Yes.
convenience specific, something to hand out definitely does help.
Yes. And it never can go wrong for you to help promote the convention that you're at.
Yeah.
They're much more apt to call you back or accept your application next year if you were promoting what they do, not just appearing there.
And one of the great things is I went to a convention that I had a repeat convention, and going in to check in for the second time, they actually knew me 5 feet before I got into that check-in table, and they, announced me by name. Hey, here's Paul Gomez coming down. He's got table number 1, which was a great thing to have and feel. So throughout the entire history, dealing with everything that you had to deal with the comics this past year, is there anything specifically that you want to talk about more?
I don't know.
Yes, a big bushel of bananas.
We
should have cotton candy for Bushibu. That's what we should have.
With popcorn. I think popcorn would be a lot better. I don't know.
Popcorn's a good idea.
See, right. Pops agrees.
Popcorn's a good idea.
It's even in his name.
Except for the mess.
We don't talk about the mess.
I mean, if you could maybe make a bunch of little golf ball sized popcorn balls, like a bunch of little ones that are just pop in the mouth, not making a mess. But
yeah, we had balloons. We had red noses. We had a lot of stuff.
We still have red noses.
Oh, circus bags of popcorn. There you go. Have one of them circus popcorn poppers right there. Making fresh popcorn and just giving it away, not even selling it.
Yeah.
Just giving it away with a branded bag, a Bushy Boo circus bag. Oh, shit, I better get out of here before I cause
But yeah, I mean, what is it that we can get teens back into comics? I mean, is there any way that you think that you and your friends would love to get, new comics or something that's aimed specifically at you that can open that door for y'all?
That's a good question.
You got an entire year coming up. I need you to answer that question before we do this show next year, okay?
Wait, what?
I need you to do research. Ask your friends, how can we get teens into comics more nowadays? Okay. I want to know that.
Ask them what kind of stuff that they would get behind as far as a series of if what is it? Is it music related? What genre do we have to tap to get your generation to want to buy comic books?
And I'm
what
telling
are y'all
you,
into, man?
Whenever I made the comics, I made these specifically for your age range. And a lot of the customers that come up are teenagers or those parents that want the teenagers to get hooked in.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps. And we want to know.
I think Brian's onto something with the peanuts and popcorn and the branded bags, dude. I think that's
yeah, right.
I think that's really something cool because, like you said right there, people walking around with a bag of popcorn eating it, and it says Bushy Boo Circus on it, and they're like, "Where'd you get that?" Because there ain't no popcorn vendor over there. They didn't see anybody selling popcorn over there. Where'd you get that? And that's sending people to your table.
Yeah.
You see, and then they see everything else you got going on. You don't even sell popcorn. You're just giving that away, right? Dude, I think Brian had really hit a good one right there with that.
Right.
I think the bushel of bananas is going a little overboard, Brian, but hey, whatever works.
But I definitely want you to ask your friends, find out how can we get teens into comics? Because y'all are the next generation of comics readers. And I feel like a lot of y'all are kind of detached from that. I know
Yeah.
whenever I introduced y'all to comics, it was kind of a give and take thing. You definitely gravitated towards it, but your brother was kind of against it for a while, but then kind of got into Mangum and all the anime stuff that he does and the unique comics that he does. But what is it that's going to get that next generation in? You don't have to answer today. Like I said, think about it, find out, ask your friends, come back and let us know, okay?
Okay.
And here we are hitting that hour mark. I think we've had a great show. I appreciate our guest host who asked me all the questions today.
All of them, every single one.
Pops, thank you for everything that you've done for us. We appreciate you and all the promoters and everybody on our teams that's helped us with an amazingly great year. Thank you to the audience for being here. I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, Paul, I'm going to thank you, for accepting my offer to start doing a show on the network.
Yeah.
Everybody likes your show. Okay. I've done, very little in terms of negative when it comes to your show. Most everything is positive. Okay. Now, some people might not understand that this is Paul's journey, you guys.
Right.
This is Paul's journey through his publishing comics over the last year and a half or whatever and into the future. And accept it for the fact that it's Paul's journey.
Right.
And the people who are on this journey with him, like his son Dylan and the rest of his children that have helped him create the characters and the storyline and stuff for these books that are good books. Give this all an opportunity to sink in that it's one family's journey.
Yeah.
He has other guests and he gets other people's input and stuff and what they've gone through. But for the most part, this show's about what Paul, who has put out 4 books in the last year, what he's gone through, and pitfalls and stuff that nobody warned him about, so that he can come out here and give y'all a little heads up. Hey, I ran into this issue. I ran into that issue. Okay. Today's the end of the year. Happy, talking about the stuff that they went through and whatnot. And Dylan, thanks for coming out and not leaving your old man hanging out here by himself. I appreciate the fact I've told you before that you support what your dad's doing. Look, there's the other one. No, they knocked the whole thing over. Dang kid. Jeez.
That's professionalism.
Yes, it is. Oh, he's still in.
You see what I'm saying, though? It's like because of the fact
Can't hear y'all no more.
Dylan supports what his father's doing. This other guy, he supports what his father's doing, and that's worth more than y'all don't understand. When you got your kids behind you, there's nothing more valuable than that for a parent. So we appreciate you, Dylan, and that other munchkin too.
The evil one.
Paul,
Wait, Martin.
Advice, and then I'll play you out, bro.
Say hi, Martin. Thank
Say
you,
hi.
everybody, for being with us. Like I said,
Go.
I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. I have y'all have a great New Year. I'm here if y'all need me. My son, my whole family. We want to be supportive, not just for us, but for all the comic creators out there. We feel like we're a family, and we're glad to be here. Again, thank you for being here. Have a great New Year.
Hey, everybody, Dirk Manning here, the writer and creator of numerous comic books and graphic novels, including Nightmare World, Tales of Mystery, Brave But Not Dead, all kinds of stuff. And I am super excited for you because you are getting to watch right now, right this moment, out of all the things we're going to be doing, you're getting to enjoy and revel in the Madness Comic Network. And that is awesome. Thank you for being here.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to drive.
hands. Jazz hands are done.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.